Hello everybody. As many of you know, I've been working on a new series for my channel called Real Witches, and I fully intended to have the first video of that series up today. Unfortunately, I keep having some issues with filming it, so it's not quite ready. I do technically have a video made for the first video of that series, but if I'm not 100% happy with it, I don't feel comfortable sharing it with you guys. I want you guys to only see my best work. And these Real Witch videos, they involve voiceovers, research, finding pictures of the people involved, as well as videos I take of myself. And that's an awful lot of hard work, and unfortunately, it's the voiceovers that I keep having issues with. My microphone keeps cutting out, so I'll be in the middle of the story and like 30 seconds of whatever I record will just disappear. So, now that that's out of the way, let's get on to this video. I decided that it might be kind of fun and interesting to do a My Goth Experiences video on this channel because there's quite a few people on YouTube who have done a video similar to this, although I noticed that usually it's very negative. They tend to mainly focus on the nasty things people do to them as a result of them looking a little bit different, like I do today. And while yes, I definitely have a lot of negative stories about being goth, I also have positive ones because I feel like if you're talking to people, especially baby bats, who are a lot of the audience of goth YouTubers, you want to meet somewhere in the middle. You don't want to say everything's perfect because then they won't be prepared for the nastiness they're going to encounter, but at the same time you also don't want to make it sound like it's all horrible because then you could potentially chase people away from the subculture. Let's start with the negatives and get those out of the way so we don't have to think about them anymore. Most of my negative experiences, unfortunately, came from people that I know personally, like family members and friends. Very rarely have I had someone that's just a stranger on the street approach me and actually say something negative about me. The first time I started actually looking goth instead of just listening to the music was in high school. I had gone to private school until 7th grade, and in private school, as many of you probably know, you have to wear uniforms, you're not allowed to wear makeup, there's very little you can do to appear goth then. So in 7th and 8th grade, I kind of experimented a little, but I wasn't really sure about what look I wanted to go for. So high school is where everything really fell into place, and I looked a lot like I do now, and that's just kind of stuck with me since then. The kids in high school didn't seem to care because honestly I was at a really small school and there was a fairly decent sized alternative subculture within the school. There were a lot of emo kids, there were a lot of goth kids, there were a lot of punk kids, so people for the most part didn't really think anything of it. And so I hadn't really experienced any problems due to that in school. However, I've got one aunt, and I don't get on with her very well to begin with. She's one of those people who has kids of her own, but she's always in competition with other parents, and she's always trying to prove that hers are better than you in some way or another. She thinks that if you're not exactly like her, then something is wrong with you. So, as you can guess, being that she's kind of a suburbia mother, it didn't fly well when I came to Christmas dinner dressed like this. Now I will say this, I'm never going to sacrifice being who I am for the sake of somebody else. However, if I'm at a family function like a wedding, a funeral, a Christmas dinner, whatever, I do tone it down slightly because I believe there's a time and a place for everything, and looking like Morticia Addams for Christmas dinner might not be totally appropriate. So I'll dress like I am now, you know, all in black and everything, but I'll have like just heavy eyeliner, not the full winged look or anything, and red lipstick instead of black lipstick. I still look like me. I still look like part of the subculture, but I'm a little less intense. Think kind of like Dita Von Teese. That's about as far as I go for family functions. And one day, I was just sitting in the living room with my grandmother, just talking to her, and this aunt pulled my mother aside and was like, "Are you really gonna let your kid look like that?" And she was like, excuse me? And she was like, "Well, I don't think that's appropriate to have the crazy hair colors and to just wear black. You know that most kids who wear all black are depressed, right?" And my mother's response to this was basically, one, my child is doing nothing wrong. They've never been in trouble in school. They haven't been in trouble with the law. They do nothing bad to anyone, so why does it matter? And two, it makes my kid happy, so why are you so upset about it if it makes them happy? And three, no, being dressed all in black does not make my child depressed. What makes my child depressed is people like you deciding that you can dictate their lives, and that shut her up for quite a while. But of course, my mother would hear that during family functions that we couldn't attend, she'd of course be talking behind my back about the fact that something must be wrong with me if I looked that way. I of course experienced the random relatives giving me gifts at my birthday and Christmas that were more for them than for me, so they'd see what I look like, they'd see me often enough to know what kind of stuff I like, but they would intentionally give me like a pink coat and insist that I wear it even though I wasn't comfortable wearing it, and then make a big fuss when I wouldn't wear the coat. And I'm like, it was your choice to spend $50 on this thing. You knew I wouldn't wear it. Don't think for 1 second that giving me a guilt-trippy gift is going to turn me into your ideal person. That is not how this works. And then the last kind of negativity that I get for being goth is, yes, people out in public on a day-to-day basis, because I do look this decked out, or sometimes even more so on a day-to-day basis, and I do not leave the house without looking at least this crazy. I've been out with Phoenix a lot, as you can imagine, since we are partners. She goes out with me all the time. I've been out with her, and I've been out with one of her friends and her at the same time, and both of them have said that they love going out with me because they think I'm a lot of fun, but that they don't like the fact that on one occasion, they counted no less than 500 people throughout the entire day who gave me a nasty look. And I was like, I honestly don't notice it. And they were like, we notice it, and it bothers us a lot that hundreds of people per day, when you're out all day long, give you nasty looks when you haven't done anything wrong. And I was like, well, yeah, that is very upsetting and it's very uncalled for, but at the same time, I've learned throughout the years as being someone who's alternative not to look people in the eye when I'm not speaking to them. If I'm just out and about in public, having fun, going to the mall or something, I don't look at other people unless I have to ask them a question, because I know they're going to stare. I know they're going to give looks of disdain towards me. Why would I intentionally look at someone when I know they're going to do that? That's one of those areas where you just have to kind of start developing a thick skin and realizing that you can't change other people's minds about you. They're going to see you and they're going to draw their own conclusions no matter what you're doing. So just don't look at them. It just makes life easier. Now I come to the positive points. I actually have had a lot of people in public say really nice things about me. I have had those negative looks, but not a single person throughout my life that I don't know personally has come up and said something nasty about the way that I look. They keep it to themselves for the most part. But I've had a couple different people I can think of off the top of my head right now who were really, really nice. Once I was in New Jersey at this big shopping mall, and it was getting pretty late. It was like an hour before they closed, so we were kind of wrapping up what we were doing, and this middle-aged lady came up to me, and she was like, hey, and I kind of looked over like, oh, what, like, is something trailing off my wheelchair or something? And she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't, mean to just, like, come up in your space or anything, but I just wanted to say that you look so beautiful. I love it. I really mean it too. I'm not messing with you. Like, I really love your look. And I was like, oh, thank you. Like, I felt really good, and I'm smiling away at her and thanking her a bunch of times, and she was like, my kid does that. My kid likes to wear skulls and black and everything, and he's a really great kid, and I've always wanted to look that way, but I've never been brave enough to do it. I've always been too afraid of what other people would think. And I was like, thank you so much for recognizing that it does take some degree of courage to go out looking this way, and for complimenting me. But honestly, between you and me, if it makes you happy to look this way, just look this way. Who cares what the other mothers say? Who cares what people say when you're at the grocery store? You don't know them. That's exactly what I told her. I was like, you don't know them, and chances are you're never going to see that person again. So why worry so much about their perception of you? I mean, chances are in a week's time they won't even remember that they saw you. You're just topic of the hour, not of their lifetime. And she's the one who sticks out the most in my mind, but I've had quite a few people actually, when I'm out shopping or I'm at, a festival or something, stop me and go, oh my gosh, your makeup's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love your hair color. Oh, your outfit's so nice. And most of the comments I get are very positive like that, and I just smile and thank them for it. And I think that a big part of why they're not afraid to approach me is because when I'm out in public and I look like this, typically I'm with Phoenix, so I'm smiling and laughing and enjoying myself. And when people see a goth smiling and laughing and looking like they're genuinely happy out in the world, all that negative stigma kind of leaves their mind, because they're like, oh, well, that person must not be depressed if they look that happy. That's just the kind of thing that'll go through their head, whether it's true or not. And they start really thinking about how they've perceived people before. And if you are friendly to others, most of the time they'll be friendly to you in return. So no, you don't have to always be smiling like an idiot or anything, but don't be afraid to have fun when you're out and about and you look very alternative, because it will make people feel more comfortable around you. It will make them more likely to approach you in a positive way. And don't be afraid to be the one who starts the compliments. If you see just a regular person who has, a very nice shade of purple on their shirt, just be like, oh, that shirt is gorgeous. I just want to let you know you look so nice today. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, well, like, your lipstick's very pretty. I love it. Where'd you get it? Just start those positive conversations, because the more often regular people see us goths as positive, friendly, happy people, more of them will start, being kinder to us. I hope that hearing my positive experiences with being goth has helped some of you, especially the baby bats out there who are just starting to dip their toe into the goth pool. Makes you feel a little more comfortable and a little less scared to be yourself and look however you want to look. And as always, thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Like and subscribe. If I can get 100 subscribers by November 1st, I will be giving away at random one $50 gift card for Killstar to spend on anything that you want. All you'll have to do is send me your email in a DM on Instagram so I know where to send the gift card. The only rules are you must be subscribed to me on YouTube and you must be following me on Instagram. That's it. You don't have to post anything. You don't have to say anything. Just subscribe and follow. That's all you need to do. And I will be picking someone at random, completely random. It has nothing to do with like what order you subscribe or anything. So as always, do something that makes you happy today, no matter what anyone else thinks about it. And I will see you all very, very soon.